was material from the Book of Maps and Keys, because in there we find out where Earth's 12 primary stargates are located. We find out what they're connected to on the other side, which is really fascinating. That's where we get into stars up there. And the names of stars they're not the Anahazi names, because we wouldn't be able to know what that meant. So they're in the terms that, our societies use, like the Sirius system, the Palladian system, that kind of thing. We find out what gates connect to what. And we begin to find out amazing things about the planet itself. There'll be a time in this discussion where we get into something about the crystal caverns, which it was really interesting. When that information was introduced to us, the crystal caverns are, if you remember a Cathara grid, the 12-pointed grid, the Tree of Life grid. Well, if you look at that and you look at the 12 points as stargates and those little lines that run in between them, now we've talked about that in relation to the body, but in relation to the planet, those lines that run in between the Cathara centers are actually tunnels. They're crystal caverns, literally lines of tunnels that you can walk through that connect gate to gate, but they have seals in them. You won't even be able to see the entrances to them unless you have certain things activated in the DNA template. But the crystal caverns are beginning to be discovered. In Chihuahua, Mexico, they have recently found, on the front of your books, in fact, there's a picture of huge crystals, I believe. Let's see. Okay, you see the picture that has the little person by the big crystal? That picture was actually given to me by a friend of ours that comes to our workshops. She was guided to our workshops right before she got an invitation to go with a scientist crew to Mexico on this, this explorer. And what they were exploring were these crystal caverns in Chihuahua, Mexico. They have just supposedly been discovered, and they are massive selenite crystal spaces. These are the small ones. The crystal caverns and these smaller crystal caves, like are being found now, are actually connected to the halls of Amenti gate temples, which are in inner Earth. And these are massive crystal temples that are literally made out of crystals like that size, but they're tiny compared to what the ones are there. So there's many things to discover on this planet. And I will let us get started so we get there, so we get to the point where we can discover them.